Welcome to Solo Parent Strength, Navigating with Resilience, the podcast that celebrates the incredible strength and resilience of single parents. Your host is Nanciekem, and she's honored to join you on this journey of empowerment. In each episode, we'll dive into uplifting stories, offer practical advice, and connect you with valuable resources to support you in your solo parenting journey. Together, we'll rewrite the narrative of solo parenting and forge a community built on strength and empowerment. Let's dive in.
Hey! Hi, listeners. Welcome on board. Nanciekem here. I'm going to continue with our topic. It's not your fault, part 2. And in our part 2, I will be talking about personal reflections, and also I'll be talking about practical stuff towards healing. And also, I will be closing this topic closely here, but let us tackle some personal reflections in the podcast. In our podcast today, in this conversation, I would like to talk to you, single parents, and I have also spoken to a lot of single parents because through my life of wanting to start this podcast, I have been analyzing and talking to a lot of single parents. The reason why I've been collecting stories, I've been collecting a lot of the good side, the bad side, the advantages, the disadvantages, and kind of stacking them up in my head, because I knew at some point I wanted to encourage, I wanted to inspire, I wanted to talk about this, I wanted to talk about us, I wanted to talk about what we don't say out there, what people don't know, what people don't hear. So personal reflections, I wanted to talk about 3 reflections that really stood out to me when I was collecting this information. And number 1 was the unexpected journey. This really hurt my feelings completely. This was a story that resonated deeply within me, that came from a father who found himself suddenly thrown into the single parenthood after a loss of his partner. He shared with me how deeply this got him. It got him with guilt, it got him with feeling inadequate, it got him with questioning himself about the ability he had to raise children by himself. And especially men, I really simply, deeply sympathize with them, especially when their wives die and they are just thrown into that field of becoming a mother and a father role as a single parent. My God. Can you imagine a man filling up the hole of a woman? That can be really hard. And I'm not saying us as women filling up the holes of men is easier, but it is a little bit harder for men because, of course, you understand that there are some roles that is a little harder for them to pull. So, over time, he realized that his strength wasn't in being perfect, but in showing up every day, offering love and stability in the midst of uncertainty. He had to come to a realization that it's not about him, it's about the little ones that have been left with him. And offering love and stability to his children was more bigger or powerful than having self-pity and feeling some way inadequate. So his journey taught him self-forgiveness. It taught him understanding that some things are beyond our control, and that is something that we need to remember at the back of our head, that we need to ask for help. We need to ask for godly help, divine help, and do what you can control. And in this situation, it was way beyond his control. So truly, there was nothing he could do about the matter than just to move forward with his kids and love on them and commit to being there for his children, and raise his children by himself. And that is something that he learned out of his journey. So sometimes being a single parent is not necessarily the end of a relationship, but it also can be through death, or abandonment, or separation, or divorce, or or so many other things. Being a preteen parent, um, all these things can cause you to be a single parent. Another story was reflection number 2 was overcoming societal judgment. And I picked these 3 stories because they sit so very well with what's happening in our day-to-day life. And this was another powerful, powerful story of a mother who faced harsh judgments from those around her when she became a single parent. Most of the time, there are so many reasons that make somebody choose that path, and it is their own judgment that allows them to accept that and move on. But society has their own way of thinking about your decisions, and she felt a little sense of guilt. She internalized that societal stigma. Yet, through this struggle, she learned a very invaluable lesson: her worth, her children's happiness were not defined by societal norms. That's the lesson that she learned that was very invaluable. And she also began to celebrate her family's uniqueness, finding joy and pride in her journey. And in doing so, she learned to forgive herself for feeling guilty about her circumstances that were also beyond her control. Societal pressure, societal pressure. Um, the day that we can learn to grow over societal norms and societal judgments and societal pressure, I think the world will be a better place, not for the society, but for you as an individual. Do things that make you happy, do things that allow you to be you, and not because society said. Let us learn to only respect God. The rest of the people need to earn your respect. Your own decisions that you make personally don't have to come from societal pressure. Society will always be society. You do what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what allows you to wake up every day and do what you do as a human being. Because at the end of it all, society will not come to pay your bills. Society will not come to buy your drugs when you're depressed. Society will not be there to wake you up in the morning when you're going through anxiety and issues in your life. So live your life according to your own terms, because you were created by yourself. In that womb, you are by yourself. When you come out here, you make friends, you make family, but you're still an individual. Live with your own terms. Another story that really caught my eyes was balancing the roles. A story that many of us can relate to, that is of balancing the roles of both parents. One parent shared with me the guilt they felt for not being able to fill both roles perfectly. That can be really, really hard because, being a mother and a father at the same time cannot be an easy role. And at the same time, you're doing everything else. You're being a provider, you're being the mother, you're being the father, you're being the disciplinarian, you're being the good parent, you're being all types of need that child needs is all on you. So they often felt they were falling short of, you know sh- you feel short of a parent, you feel short of a mother, you feel short of a father, because entirely, if you're a woman, then you don't have the manly role, and if you're a man, then you don't have the motherly role. So you feel like you're kind of shortchanging your child pretty much. But through reflection, they came to understand that their role wasn't to be perfect in both, but to provide love. Love covers all things. Love covers everything. And if you provide that love, you provide support and provide understanding, that's all a child needs to grow. And everything else, I promise you, God will cover it. You be present, you show up, you show love, you show determination, you show dedication, you show support, you show understanding. Everything else God will cover. God will discipline these children on your behalf. God will cater for them. God will be their security. God will be their provider. God will be their protector. Everything. He will cover that. In embracing this, they found a sense of peace and self forgiveness, which allowed them to recognize themselves to be the best and more than enough for their child. So, once you realize that you're important, once you realize that you're not alone, once you realize that it's not your fault, you're able to get up and feel the best of you and move on and raise your children the best way possible. Each of these stories are unique, but they yet have a common thread, the journey towards self forgiveness and self realization. And being a single parent does not mean being faultless. No, nobody has said we are faultless. We are not. It's about just being present, it's about just being loving, and it's about just doing the best we can for in each moment. As we share these reflections, let them be a reminder of the strength and resilience that lies within each and every one of us. I haven't heard your story yet, but I cannot wait to hear your story, because this podcast is going to be open to a lot of single parents. You guys will get on this platform. You guys will tell us your stories. I cannot wait for that day that you guys will be all over here and calling in and making schedules and making appointments for us to hear your stories. I would like to navigate this beautiful yet challenging path of single parenthood with you guys, and it's my pleasure to serve you. Also, let's dive in and talk about the practical stuff now. Let's do the practical stuff about what we are learning here today. The practical stuff, right? I would love to share with you guys the practical stuff. And these practical steps towards healing will really help us to know how to navigate the moving forward part of it. So now let's talk about the practical steps, right? How do we start to let go of blame and guilt? I want to share with you strategies, day-to-day strategies that have helped me and many others in our journey towards self-compassion and acceptance. Moving forward from self-blame and guilt is a journey that really requires both patience and persistence. I have a couple of guides here, step to step guides that will help us towards the healing, self compassion, and acceptance. The first one, I have a couple of points, but I'm going to go through them real quick before I run out of time. And I don't want to make this podcast too long. I want to make it really pretty short so it's easier for us to digest. Let us recognize and validate our feelings. Recognize and validate your feelings. Acknowledging that you have feelings of guilt, blame, and they're valid. They're valid. They don't define your worth or your capability as a parent. Understanding that these feelings are natural responses to your situation is a first step towards processing them. Um, they kind of look the same as what we discussed earlier on our understanding the blame, but it is also another way of healing guilt, challenging the negative thought. So, change the negative thought from negative to positive. Often, feelings of blame and guilt stem from a deep seated negative belief. When you catch yourself engaging in self critique thoughts, pause and challenge them. Pause, because we are made out of our own thoughts. A man is made and unmade out of their own thoughts. So you can decide to change your thoughts. When you catch yourself engaging in self critique, challenge it. Ask yourself if these thoughts are based on facts or you're just being harsh on your own self judgments. Ask yourself these questions. What is this thought based out of? Don't indulge in thinking and overthinking about a thought that is negative, especially if you're criticizing yourself. You are already doing enough and too much already. So don't critique yourself if you can. Practice self compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a friend in the same situation. Set realistic expectations. Let go of the idea of being a perfect parent because nobody is. There is no manual for being a perfect parent, so throw that out the window. Nobody's going to judge you for being the parent that you are. You are trying, you are giving your all, you're putting in effort. Embrace the fact that parenting involves learning curves and it's okay not to have it all together or not to have all the answers in your palms. Setting achievable goals for yourself and your family can alleviate the pressure and reduce a little feeling of feeling guilty, for sure. Prioritize self-care. Take yourself on an emotional, mental, physical well-being class, or have a mentor or have someone who can help you with that. And it's very crucial for you to develop good ways of taking care of your emotions and your physical and your mental care. It's very essential. Though they are different, even though people think that it's the same, these are really, really different places to care for. Ensure that you're getting enough rest. Make sure you sleep well, make sure you eat well. I know sometimes you have little bitty ones. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but try to find some time to sleep well. Try to find some good balanced food to eat. Eat healthy. Engage in some physical exercises. If you cannot work out, walk around. If you cannot walk around, find something you can do. Dance. Something that you can do to enjoy a relaxing time for yourself. Seek support. If you cannot do anything by yourself and you've tried multiple times to get out of your negative mind, seek support. You can get a psychologist, you can get a therapist, you can get a counselor, you can get a coach, you can talk to me. We can figure things out. Sometimes there's some of the things you're going through, some of us have been through it and we have been able to come out of it. So you can learn something from us. Join our single parenthood revival group on Facebook also. That might also give you another place to pour your frustrations. Reflect on accomplishments, like focus on your strengths, focus on what you've achieved as a parent, celebrate the small victories and accomplishments, acknowledge all the challenges that you've been able to overcome, and look back and be thankful, pat yourself in the back and keep going. This helps you to shift your focus from what you think you're doing wrong to what you're actually doing right. So that will change your mindset and give you a peaceful state to move on with. um, Mindful meditation and mindfulness and meditation, God, this has really been an awesome practice. It has really helped me. Your brain is like a computer. Most people think meditation is such a bad thing, but meditation is pretty much you giving a restart to your computer, which is your mind, and also giving your mind a pause or shut down, something like that. Your mind needs to relax and shut down completely, not think about anything, just think about breathing in and out, and that's all you have to think about, and you're not thinking about anything else. Give your mind time to restart, to reboot, just like a computer. That's what meditation is. It can help you to manage stress, it can help you to manage anxiety, and also it can help you to deal with self-blame. You can use guided meditation, you can use just a quiet room, set a timer, and just be quiet and just focus on your breath. Forgiving exercises. Engage in exercises that promote forgiveness, such as writing forgiveness letters. Visualize letting go. And these letters you're writing, you're not sending them. You just write them and then you burn them. Write a forgiving letter to everybody that has ever offended you, and then you burn it or you trash it, but don't mail it. Don't mail it, please. And visualize on how you're letting go of your guilt. Just sit down and just have a picture of you visualizing on how you're going to get rid of the guilt that you have. Maintain a gratitude journal. I am affirmations are awesome. I am grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. God says count your blessings and name them one by one. Get a gratitude journal. I'm gonna be sharing a gratitude journal, and kindly guys, look into it so that you can be able to learn more from what you're actually doing on a day-to-day basis. Daily noting on things that you're grateful for can shift your focus from negative to positive aspect of your life, fostering a sense of commitment, contentment, and reducing that feeling of guilt. Excuse me. Remember, healing is not just something you're gonna do one day and it's done. There's so many ups and downs, but each step you take towards understanding, forgiving yourself, and practicing self-compassion is a step towards a happier and healthier life for both you and your children. Until then, I'll catch up with you guys. I'm not done. I thought this was gonna finish up the second episode, but I'm not done yet. So stay tuned for part 3 of this. And I love you guys. I wish you all the best. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Solo Parenting Strength. Remember, you are never alone in this journey. If today's episode resonated with you, please consider sharing it with other single parents who might find solace in our supportive community. Remember to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your preferred podcast platform. Your feedback enables us to reach more single parents who may need this beacon of strength. Until next time, always remember, the strength you seek resides within you. Take care and keep thriving. Solo Parent Strength, Navigating with Resilience is produced by Single Parents Revival. For additional resources and community support, visit our website at www.singleparentsrevival.com. We're grateful to have you as part of our empowering community. Thank you for being here.